Hello and welcome to my Iron Golem farm for Windows 10 PE Bedrock Edition. Before I begin, I'd like to actually thank Guy for his initial trials and tests into Iron Golem farms and providing his world download. And so what this is a 16 village Iron Golem farm. And when it is it's semi self-building because of the quirks Windows 10 has in adding new villages to its array list of villages in terms of older villages, newer villages. And so I'll leave a link to Guy's video and even Tango Tech's Iron Trench video that explains how these farms work, in case you don't know. And then because this is semi-self-building, you will need one tool to make this work, and that is the MCC tool chest for Pocket Edition. And that is simply to check and make sure that the game is adding villages where it's supposed to be adding villages. One of the rules, as it were, for how this works is new doors will be added to the oldest village within range first. And if there are no villages within range, it creates a new village out of that valid door. For example, here are my doors, and they are not valid because we have 5 blocks off of each side that prevents sky access. On this side it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm using cauldrons for my 5th block. The only reason I'm using cauldrons is because they make my light blink so that you can see from the middle what's going on with the outer edges. Same thing over here. I have those cauldrons over here, and when these open, the only doors that become valid is this row right here at the bottom. Boom, boom. The rest of the 11 and 10 over there, or the rest of the 10 and the 10 over there, aren't valid yet. And I think perhaps the best way to do this is just to show you how this thing works. And so all you got to do, come into the middle, make sure that all the levers are up. I have a lot of manual overrides on this, like this blue circuit here with the redstone is to work this villager over here, these villagers over here. To clear them, to clear the doors on this side, there's actually 4 over here, 1 off of each corner, but really it's only this guy that matters. And then this blue circuit here activates this villager over here, raises him up 1 block, gets him out of range of these doors so that these doors can be cleared. And then I have a master switch override here, main system lock, and that prevents adding new villages to the list. You'll see why in a minute. And then if you need to manually clear that villager or that villager, you can flip these switches here, and that will either just raise him up or drop them down. Okay, on to the actual building process. Phase 1 is getting all 16 villages lined up on that side. In my case, it's the north side. I've done tests with different orientations, north, south, east, west, and I can't find any difference where one orientation is better or worse than another. And so in this case, it just happens to, I built this north to south. So what you do, come over here, system go, you hit the green button. And now what it's going to do, that light up top blinked off, and that means I have a shutter open. That cauldron right there. And then when that closes, the light will blink back on. Lets me know that all the hatches are closed over there. And this light here came on for this hopper clock, which means that this villager over here has been raised up. You can see the redstone is on. So this villager is actually clearing these doors. Being the first village, that really doesn't matter, but it's part of the cycle for every village after that. And now that's going to be on for about 70 seconds or so. And I will note that this timer over here goes longer because the villagers on that side, they drop down and they bounce. And they come up into range and they bounce down. And the extra time is to take into, well, to allow them to settle, basically. So now we wait for the light to go out. That light goes out. This blinks. That light came on. That light came off. Now this lets you know that we are now onto the second village. And that being out lets us know that the hatch over there is open. And now it's closed. And now basically the system is stopped. It's paused. It's waiting for input. And at this point, what you need to do is open up MCC Tool Chest for Pocket Edition. So then open this up, open up the game you're playing, navigate to Data, Villages, and you have 2 villages at this point. It should show that you have 2 villages. So you bring these down and you are looking for the order in which it's listed them. Basically, it should be oldest villages at the top of the list, newest villages at the bottom of the list. And now for my farm, I know that the first one should be village 86 and the second one should be 87. So right away, it didn't put them in the right order. And to be honest, that's kind of rare. Normally within the first 4 or 5 villages, it gets it right, no problem. But right away, I can show what happens if it doesn't get it right. So it's like, you got it wrong. So you come over here, you got the light, red means no, try again. So you hit no, and it's done a couple different things. One, it's clearing out that door, so it's re-popped up the villager. You can tell that because the light's on. And over here, it retracted the piston. So now this signal, when it turns off, will follow down the yellow path, the yellow circuit, to refire that door over there. When it's system go, when it's good to just keep going forward, the path actually will come up the green way through this way, because that piston will be extended. The circuit will come up the green and fire off the next village. But now we gotta wait for this villager again. Alright, that's gone off. Light up above should go out, meaning our hatch over here is open. Yep, right there, it's open. And when that closes, the light comes back on. And so now we check toolkit again. So that means you basically reload your world, data and villages, come down here, 2 villages, and 86 and 87. And now on yours, these numbers are going to be different probably if you're building this or using it in a world somewhere else. But in this particular world, I know it's the first one's 86, the second one's 87. And so yeah, it's good now. It has done what it is supposed to do, and so you can say yes, green button, you're good to go. Now by hitting the green, what it's doing now is it's going to open up village number 1 door. It extended the piston, so any further circuit now is going to come up and activate the next village in line. Village 1 door closed, the hatch closed, so now this is running, clearing off our first village on this end. And we know that because see, villager, he's down at the bottom, just settling into place. All 4 of them are. Got one way over there too. And since I'm here looking at this, I might as well say the reason I'm using 4 villagers instead of 2, initially I had like this guy and that guy to be able to see this bank of doors and that bank of doors. When the whole 16 villages got put into place, for some reason, when I was AFKing over just this side of that purple over there, either this guy or this guy, they would forget their bank of doors and they would be cleared out of the villages. And I have no idea why. But it seems that since I've doubled up the number of people looking at these doors, that hasn't been an issue. Also, normally when villagers are just standing on a block, they see doors 4 blocks above their feet and 4 blocks below their feet, like standard villagers elsewhere. But when they are sitting in a minecart, suddenly they can see 5 blocks below their feet and 3 blocks above their feet. So this one guy can see all these doors. Alright, he's been bumped back up. Village number 3 has been activated, and we missed it, but the hatch opened and closed, and I know that because the light's on. And so now the machine is stopped and is waiting for more input. So this, we open up, we reload our world. 3 villages should be 86, 87, and 88. So it did this right the first time. And so it's good to go. So you say, hey, good to go. Boom. And it's going to just do its thing until the next time it tries to add a new village. Light is out, means the hatch is open. It's adding in the door to village number 2, and then it's going to add in the door to village number 1. So all of this stuff is automated for you. All the timings are automated for you. And basically all you need to do is let it know if it got it right or not. Now it's clearing off the villager over there. And something I should also say, in Bedrock Edition, you can only have 1 hatch open at a time. You can only do, basically you can only do 1 door at a time, which really slows this down. If you try to do multiple doors at once, it gets all confused. And that I don't quite know why, but it might have something to do with, it only takes about 10 seconds for a villager to recognize a valid door, but it can take the game up to 30 seconds or so before it figures out what it wants to do with that valid door, to either add to an existing village or create a new village out of it. And I think it's that delay where it gets confused and starts merging doors where you don't want them to be merged. So basically we have to wait now for that door to be cleared. So when the light here goes off, that fires. Adds in the next village. Door is open. And now it's waiting for us. So we check one more time. And basically you just go through this cycle. 4 villages, 86, 87, 88, this should be 89, and it's not, so I got it wrong. Where is it? There, 89. Stuck it in the middle of the list. The newest door, newest village, has to be at the end of the list. And that's the troublesome thing. Sometimes you have to say, no, you got it wrong, multiple times per village. Usually the first 5 villages I'm good, just zips through. 7 and 8 I really have problems with now and then the end of the list is usually pretty good about getting through it. I will just kind of fast forward this, and I will see you at the end of phase 1. Because mostly this will take probably about an hour and a half to build. And so we are now on to village 15. Village 15. Reload the world. Check the villages. 15 villages. The last one should be on row 100. Negative 100, so that is good. So, go. Boom. Villagers clearing these doors, and then it will add in the last village. Now when this line hits this 15th spot, which is our redstone length, 1, it will activate the 16th village, and 2, it will actually lock the village counter, and it will automatically drain these all back down and put the items from the dropper. Dropper. No, it'll take the items from the hopper and put them back into the dropper. And basically reset everything to make it ready for the next round of rebuilding. And there it goes, it locked, and now it's going to drain these out. The light up above there means that 16th village is being added in. Yep, see, this one just went out, and then it basically just drains itself back down. And so we check number 16. And it should be negative 101, negative 101. Okay, now when you hit the green button for village 16, a couple things are going to happen. 1, it'll mark the end of phase 1 pretty much. The game will go through all of these, and it will clear, with that circuit, it'll clear those villages over there. In the meantime, it is also going to activate the redstone here on the oak planks to start this timer, the oak plank timer, and that's basically just to give enough time between phase 1 and phase 2 starting so that all of that can do its thing, and then phase 2 will just automatically go in and do what it needs to, which is all activated by this little hopper clock. And when this gets going, it will actually now retract these pistons, actually extend, sorry, these pistons in sequence, and these pistons. and that will make basically our 21 doors on this end valid. And it's going to extend these ones first, one row at a time. This will come out for 10 seconds, and then that one will come out for 10 seconds. This is about the only time when multiple hatches are open, and that 10 seconds is controlled by all of these repeaters. Now, something I should know is these repeaters are set on 3 ticks. Because the hopper clocks, they don't blink on, they blink off. And if you have these set to 4 ticks, that off signal will not always go through. They will stay on sometimes, which is not what we want, because it'll make those hatches unsynced from these hatches. So that's just something to keep in mind. 3 ticks, the off blink will go through, but at 4 ticks, it won't all the time. So that's why those are set to how they are. And so let's give this a go and just see how it goes. See, this light now came on, letting you know that that counter down clock thing is going. And this is over here doing its thing with its hatches. So now at this point, you also should kind of stay in this central area. Mostly because way over there, that bank of villagers, you don't really want to be in range of them yet. What we have is that in Bedrock Edition, each village needs its own unique set of 10 villagers. And so I have 160 villagers over there in individual cells, separated by trapdoors. Again, that was a Groove Guy thing. Good idea. And when these 21 doors here around your spawn area get made, if you periodically check the toolkit, you will see that those villagers will randomly be assigned as the villages get built. So like the first village, you might have 150 villagers assigned to it. And then the next village gets built, maybe it'll get 50 villages. But when you get in range of them, then suddenly everybody will kind of be realigned to the proper village that they are just barely within range of. So until these villages, all of them do get made, you probably want to stay back and not essentially lock those villagers to the villages as they're being made. So I wait over here until that light comes on. Now at that point, that's trying to that will clear these doors over here, but really at that point, if you walk past the lava where the path is going, you will be out of range of that villager, and he'll automatically clear the doors out anyways at that point. So you can either wait for that light to come on and go off, or when it comes on, you can just walk down the path and over to the AFK area. Alright, this one went out, means that that's started, and that one went out, means now the villagers are popped up where they need to be. And you should see them. There we go. The hopper clock there started. That was basically from this line. There's a bit of a slow down, which is fine. There you go. So let us, I think, real quick check the toolkit. Now these are villages 16 and 17. So in 16 we have our 22 doors, which 21 plus the ones behind us, and this one we have 22 doors. So that's exactly what we want. something else to note is that the two villagers on the far side of the farm, their range of being in range of the player is actually all the way over to just in front of these buttons. So you could probably stand just like right about where the repeaters are and you'd still be in range of them, as far as I know. And those doors over there are done. This is on, so the villager over there is being cleared. So now what you can probably do is you are good to walk over to the AFK area. And once you cross past the lava, you will be in range of those guys. You can probably see them up there, all in their little cages. And so that should mean that we get some golems coming. Where's the golems? Yep, there's the golem. Alright. Now, with all 16 villages going, and there's another golem. I AFK'd here for an hour, and I managed 8 stacks of iron. And so, it's kind of up to you guys whether this farm is worth it. It takes about an hour and a half to build. 8 stacks an hour for iron. And not to mention, it takes care of the timings for you. And it keeps track of which village it's on as it's building, so if you have to step away, you won't lose anything. So yeah, all in all, that's my video. Thank you for watching.